This is Adobe InDesign, and we're looking at it for the very first time. There's always going to be new things in this section right here, and if you've already been using it, you may see your own files. There's many different ways to do things like there are throughout the entire Creative Cloud suite. You can create new or open documents, look for other things. Reliably, you can go under the File menu and choose to make a new document, so that no matter what else is going on, this is definitely a good way. When we choose to make a new document, however you've arrived there, you again may see different things here depending on what you've been doing, what you have available. You can choose from different preset ideas. In this class, we're going to use print as almost entirely the same for all the documents that we use. You'll see some standard presets and possibly some templates that might be available. You can scroll around and look for other things and view all the presets if you want. You're going to see this familiar setup from the rest of the Creative Suite. And so, for example, when you choose the normal letter size, you're going to see some options over here on the right. Now, it's unusual to see the pica system that is used in printing and publication design. You can change it now or in the future, and this is something that's going to be true throughout the whole document, of course, the program. So this is translation from picas to inches. You can see the more normal settings that you would expect. And of course, you can change your orientation of your page. Now, a new feature in InDesign compared to the other programs that we use is facing pages, like in a magazine or a book when you see the two pages side by side. So we're going to see that there's different ways for the program to set up depending on how you do this. Primary text frames are for long documents. Things like how many columns and what our margins are, we can set them now or in the future. So to just make a quick, simple document, choose the letter size and choose to create. Now we will see the idea of the page on the pasteboard, like we did in Illustrator. You're going to see the Properties panel set up over here on the right-hand side. It's going to control a lot of those same things we just looked at when we set up the new document. The tools on the left, as we usually notice in this suite, and the little chevron at the top makes it 2 columns again. We're back to fill and stroke like we were in Illustrator. And we're going to have the selection tool, black arrow, and direct selection, white arrow. You're going to see the type tools, some boxes, other things, gradients that you recognize from other programs in the suite. And then you're going to have the idea about how to view things, normal or not. In your page, you're going to see these lines indicating margins. They don't print. Of course, the rulers are visible at this moment under the View menu. We're going to see that that's the normal place that you would find rulers, and the same shortcut throughout the whole Creative Cloud. The reason we see the boxes the way we do is because of the Essentials setup. Remember that a lot of the times in my movies, the Essentials Classic is in use. And the reason that's true is because it was used for so long. And so if I reset the Essentials Classic to show you the standard setup, and the reason again is because it changes the way the Properties panel is used. So it doesn't really matter, but it may orient you to how these tutorials go. Look at the Pages panel as one option here, and of course all of them are under the Window menu alphabetically, like they normally are. But there's going to be sections of things, like for example, styles will be cell styles for tables, objects, and for paragraphs and type. So again, they'll be sort of categorized to find things. Meanwhile, the Pages panel is new because we don't have it in Illustrator and Photoshop. We asked for one page so we see it right here like this. Later on, we'll look at more complicated documents. The really basic ideas of InDesign. You can bring things in under the File menu, Place, for example. And so I can look at some ideas about where some images might be. For example, I have this file right here called a Jessie JPEG. Notice that the default option is to replace things, so watch out for that in the future. When we say that we want to open a document in InDesign, we're saying we want to place it. And so it comes in with what they call a loaded cursor. When you click and let it fall, it's going to go to its natural 100% size that it was built at in Photoshop or wherever. And so you see the image fall down. A different thing that happens in InDesign from other programs is we have this little thing in the middle that allows you to pan, as they call it, or basically move the image inside of the frame it automatically comes in. Under the Edit menu, we choose Undo with the universal shortcut Command Z like we're used to. And of course, that's Control Z in Windows. So just to bring in an image, that was File menu Place, and you'll remember this from other programs. You can also place type, but one of the big things in InDesign is to draw boxes with the Type tool. And this is unique again to InDesign, that you must draw a box basically. There is a second tool as I right-click on the tool, Type tool, type on a path, which we remember from Illustrator, and that would mean we'd have to have a path. So generally in InDesign, the Type tool, you initially must draw a box. Now you can of course just type words in to your box. And I'll hit the return key and go down to the next line. But a lot of times for my presentations, we're going to go down to the Type menu, Fill with placeholder text, and bingo, you get text put into your box. Then the black arrow is going to be for moving things around like it was in Illustrator. And there'll be many, many options that we will explore as we go forward. To just simply save a document is to go File menu, Save As. And then you're going to put it wherever it is that you wanted. Remember to keep it in the normal format. You can do other things, but this is the main thing. And of course, we always want to have good names. So this is my sample file in InDesign, and I'll save that. There is no other questions when you save. The main thing we're going to do with print documents is later on export them as PDFs. And so that's very commonly done. Also later on, we will package our files, which put all these pieces together, and so they can travel.